on Frontline. This man made $50,000 at the races. How did he do it? How do you pick a winner? What really goes on at the track? An inside view of America's #1 spectator sport.
I saw a horse that will make me king of the world.
The other side of the track, next on Frontline.
Here on Channel 17, tomorrow night at 8.
(1935). Italy's bombastic dictator Benito Mussolini strutting on his balcony as he announces war against Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. Selassie's army was ill-trained, ill-armed, and undisciplined. But the recruits were exuberant, eager, determined to stand on their own in defense of their backward and landlocked homeland of 8 million people. Haile Selassie's appeals for help from the League of Nations had been rejected out of hand. Military parades, pageantry, patriotic fervor in the capital city of Addis Ababa. But on the plains, the Ethiopians were hardly a match for the highly trained, well-armed invading armies of a fascist dictator. Mussolini dreamed of expanding his empire, of controlling the Mediterranean, of turning Ethiopia into an Italian colony. He was certain of victory. In Germany, Adolf Hitler's Nazi dictatorship began building an army of bully boys, the storm troops, and old-line regulars in violation of the Versailles Treaty that ended World War I. While the dictatorships prepared for World War II, the French liner Normandy crossed the Atlantic on a cruise that symbolized the free world's greater interest in peaceful pursuits. The Normandy made the crossing in record time. 4 days after leaving Le Havre, the ship passed the Statue of Liberty and entered New York Harbor. In Washington, the Supreme Court ruled out President Roosevelt's major weapon to fight the Depression, a law authorizing the executive to fix wages. A chicken processing plant in Brooklyn had closed, its owners claiming they couldn't pay the wages decreed. Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Schechter finally reopened. They'd sued and won. But Senator Robert Wagner secured a victory for Roosevelt's New Deal. Printing presses began rolling out millions of Social Security forms as Congress passed Wagner's Social Security bill setting up aid to the aged, handicapped, and unemployed. Millions of Americans signed up, and some even began receiving benefits. In Flemington, New Jersey, Bruno Richard Hauptmann, a carpenter, was on trial for the kidnapping and murder of Charles A. Lindbergh, Jr. Convicted, he was led off to die in the electric chair. Crime, violence, tragedy were endemic in this Depression year. Huey Long, kingpin of Louisiana politics, seen here with his wife. Long was assassinated by a crazed political antagonist at the state capitol in Baton Rouge. In aviation, a celebrated flyer, Wiley Post, a glamorous figure in his eye patch, took off with his friend humorist Will Rogers for a flight across Alaska. The plane crashed at Point Barrow and both men died. Dust storms devastated the prairie states. In Kansas City, motorists had to turn on their headlights at high noon. Once fertile farms were left all but worthless. The U.S. Navy dirigible Macon flew over California, returning from fleet maneuvers. Suddenly near Monterey, a structural failure. The Macon fell into the Pacific. 83 men were aboard. Naval vessels saved 81. 2 were lost. And at Helena, Montana, a sharp earthquake. Buildings collapsed, houses destroyed, families homeless. Children housed in railroad cars, cared for by nuns. But of course, 1935 was not all tragedy, war, depression. Harlem and the rest of the world cheered a new hero, Joe Louis, who took both a bride and boxing's world championship.
American Playhouse presents the dramatization of the bitter Alger Hiss case. Don't miss the premiere of this landmark miniseries, Concealed Enemies, tomorrow night at 9 here on Channel 17.